Neil's hands, McCluggage, come on through!
If you're Carlton, take these sorts of risks.
That was a big risk in the end, misfire. Dunkley not sure give. Bailey running forward, running hard and finishing like it's a formality. Copped it, and now the Blues defence are copping it. Draper! Oh, not many ruckmen can do that! Oh, what a night! A night to celebrate Patrick Cripps.
4 weeks ago, we sat here after a victory against Geelong. And I said on the Brisbane Lions fancast, thanks to Hop on Brew to his EB by Hiker and Chris Marketing, I said, we've got 4 very winnable games on paper coming up, but we're going to drop one of them. I said that. Not only did we drop one, we completely shat ourselves on Saturday night at Marvel Stadium as Carlton just did whatever the hell they bloody wanted. That is about as bad as it gets, Patrick. A 13-goal loss and a series of injuries to go with it. In a weird way, I'm sort of looking forward to recording this episode. Could be a little bit cathartic, a little bit therapeutic. And it must be said, Carlton were very, very, very good. We were very, very, very bad.
They were indeed good. Also, it would be like you to bring that up, being like, I was right, but also in the worst way possible.
I didn't think I was going to be right in that way.
At least when I bring up like sticklerish stuff, you know, I'm right and it's also fun. I guess, you know, we are who we are here, so, you know, that's all good. But it was a horrendous evening. Basically everything that went wrong, or basically everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and everything that could have gone right for Carlton went very right, which led to just this absolutely absurd swing. We will obviously talk about the game, but far out. They were rolling 6s and we were rolling 1s, and it was averaging out to 7. As the numbers will tell you is the way that it will, but...
Yeah. They were good. As soon as I did hear that it was Patrick Cripps' 250th, there was a slight element of dread. Because, you know, aside from 2022, where he won a Brownlow sort of unceremoniously and pinched one from Lockie, I really like Patrick Cripps. I really like the way he's played his footy over his career. I really like the way that he has stuck it out through thick and thin with that football club. And I've got a lot of respect for Patrick Cripps, the man and the footballer. And clearly they did as well because they lifted for him. On the flip side, Noah Answorth's 100th game, and not a single bloke on our team pulled up their socks and played the way Noah Answorth plays his footy. And
he didn't really mince words about how he plays and how others play and how he expects them to play in his, pre-match interview during the week, which I thought was very nice to hear from him. Cripps the player's fine. Cripps the guy's fine, I guess. Cripps the relentlessly shoved down my eyeballs advertisement actor. It's wearing a bit thin, gotta say.
But his whole footy career is based on Colgate. Without Colgate, there's no whatever.
Okay, cool. I mean, it is sound advice.
Yeah.
In fairness, if you're living in a country town and you can't go to the dentist, brush your teeth.
Well, I mean, just brush your teeth anyway.
Yeah, of course. Brush your teeth, everybody, at least twice a day. If not, you're a grub. More of a grub than Ty Gallop, which is another thing you were right about. But,
I am so filthy with Ty Gallop right now. The domino effect on his stupidity last week was there for everyone to see on Saturday night.
For those who want to read a full... I think I used the word PSYOP, AFL PSYOP. I don't really know what any of this means, but in the Discord there is a tinfoil hat section, which is, fun. It's not serious, it's fun. So you feel free to read that. Cost us money, sending it straight to tribunal, all sorts of things. Hampered our preparation for this game. And, Fagan... by all accounts, did show Carlton a lot of respect and said, they're second on the table since
round 11 or
Josh
something
Fraser.
like that,
So they were showing them all sorts of respect. So last week we talked about the ins and outs, and you posed an idea, and I liked the idea of bringing Oscar Allen in, clean deck at Marvel. Reveal for Tunstall, cool. Zorko for Kadeen Coleman, also cool. So
Yeah.
I was in pretty high spirits. Now, I was hoping that they would go like they did at Cardinia Park last year, which is a little bit smaller in the back line and really slingshot the ball and take control of the situation and play with the three talls, because that's what we want to see, how that works. And that's kind of what Chris Fagan had said weeks ago about we're going to need to have a look at that. What I didn't expect them to do is to play Eric Hipwood as a key defender and basically say, we're going to do what we normally do, but worse.
Much worse. Much worse.
And it's not even about Hipwood, because, there's been a lot of stuff about him, but, it didn't change anything. It was the same thing, and it was always going to be worse because we were lacking the personnel to do it. So I don't understand why you don't just go with what you have, play proactive, as we've seen the team be able to do in that sort of a situation. I call me an idiot here. I don't think Kemp needs to have a tall key position defender playing on him.
No, I thought, I thought Froggy was probably the matchup there.
Well, I thought Froggy on McGovern would have been good, and Harris on Mackay, and then you can just raffle. Brodie Kemp. Now, I'm trying to be respectful. I think that he plays better when a smart footballer is playing on him because they take him to better positions. He's the kind of player that beats himself, and he ended up with 5 fucking goals. Which tells you all you really need to know.
He had a great game. There were so many players on Carlton's team that, like Jagger Smith tore us apart in the middle. Harry Dean down back, God, he was really good. Chera at halfback was really, really good. It has to be Kemp's best game for Carlton, I would have thought. At least in the top 3.
That's the best game he's had and will ever have.
Yeah, they were good. Taylor Byrne was amazing across the day.
Pitnet was good. Got the better of both really rucks, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And
McGovern is kind of this weird forward fulcrum where he was just sort of dishing the ball off and creating situations. You're like, okay, they really were firing all cylinders on all cylinders.
Cooper Lord was really good. The one bloke that we put time into, Patrick Cripps, on his 250th. Was probably one of the quieter ones, and Dunkley was doing a role on him, and it's just like, okay, well, you probably actually need to go to Jagger Smith now because he's just having his way with us.
Yep.
Walsh was good.
What I will say is, how many times is this the 3rd or 4th Robert Walls medal that has been contested?
Maybe the 4th.
Because I don't believe we've ever seen the presentation. But we have now when Carlton won. So, cool. The broadcast was abhorrent. It was the worst broadcast I've listened to without failure. Hudson, King, and Rewalt was borderline as biased as you can get, which is understandable. But it was horrible, and that's all I'm going to say about that. David King looked so happy after the game, and Jack Rewalt said it might have been one of his favourite games he's ever seen, which just goes to show.
Yeah, look, and to take your Brisbane Lions hat off for a second, it would, if you're a Carlton supporter, how much fun would you have had at Marvel Stadium watching that all unfold? Harry Dean kicking a goal, that's fun. That's fun.
Of course, yeah, of course it's fun. What I will say is they didn't really show up for Cripps' 250. There was a pretty pathetic turnout at Marvel Stadium by the Carlton fans. I've been to a lot of Carlton games at Marvel, and I've seen a lot of Carlton fans walk out early. So maybe back your team properly. But, whatever. Let's talk about this game.
There wouldn't have been a huge amount of Carlton fans going in thinking they were going to A, win, and B, win like that.
But if it's a player's 250th game, if it was McCluggage's 250th game or Harris Andrews' 250th game, and we're playing like the space team of superhuman mutants, I'll be there. Even if it's McCluggage and 12 children playing.
All right, yeah. So you've touched on the selections. Gallup out, Zorko out, Tunstall out, Reveal in, Oscar Allen in, and Kitty Coleman in for half a game of footy, who just cannot get
half
a
game.
Yeah. I didn't mind the managing Zorko, depending on if that literally is just a, hey, let's give you a rest, or if that, he's been in and out with injury this year. Maybe that is something to think about. Maybe there's a little bit more underlying there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just face value. He's being managed for a week. It looks like there's a whole host of more changes that may happen this week as well. Obviously, Coleman goes out. Still waiting on results for Froggy and Loman, Morris, McCluggage. All guys that didn't really finish out the game. So McCluggage is obviously a big worry there. Froggy, I thought, and it could be a case of like, hey, this game's cooked. We're done. Like, just let's make sure these guys are all right for next week, and there's not too much to worry about. Froggy, he looked really sore, but then he waved the trainer away. Then I think it was a half-time or three-quarter time, went down to the rooms, never came back. So, yeah, that's a worry.
Well, they were just doing what your buddy said last week on First Crack. They were just resting their players in the last quarter,
Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
I jest. It wasn't good. I thought Kadeem Coleman started pretty well. He was fierce at tackle. He was one of the few players that was showing a lot of intent in that first quarter. First quarter was a little bit aside. I thought it was really over-umpired. I think three of the first 4 goals were
silly
free kicks. And ones that were sort of, were they there, were they not on both sides? It's just, let them play, man. Like, it felt early, because we always see that like our intent is a good indicator of where we're going to be in the game. And there wasn't really an opportunity to get that intent going because it was so stop-start. The umpires were, just annoying. Like, annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And I thought the first quarter, I thought Carlton were the better team. The way they were moving the ball, controlling the ball, and using the ball was far better. And we were just sort of, there was a little bit of talent that got us, within striking distance. We were very lucky to be within 3 goals at halftime, and I thought, okay, we're lucky to be where we are at halftime. The third quarters, our first and third quarters are where we win our games. So when we win matches, we win the third quarters by 3 goals. When we lose by just over 3 goals. And I thought to myself, all right, we're within 3 goals at halftime by the skin of our teeth due to a couple of sort of lucky goals in the last 2 minutes. If we're any chance here, we need to really pull something out quickly in this third quarter. 30 seconds in, Taylor Burns draining a shot from sort of 45 out, and you're like, nah, we could be done here. And then it really we just rolled over and it unraveled. And then I hate it when we do this, when things aren't going our way, so we just resort to the sort of fake bravado bullshit. Like Kai Loman was in there, Cam Rayner was in there, even Jared Berry was, shoving people into the ground after tackling them and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, it's a classic case of, hey, do that as much as you want, but have a look at the scoreboard. You're getting your pants pulled down here.
Yeah, I suppose so. But also then if you do it when you are winning, you get told you're arrogant. So it's sort of a bit like, when's the chance? And probably the answer is to not, but at the same time, if you're the 2-time premiers,
especially when, you're missing what may or may not be a very integral part to our backline because of stuff like that. Like, obviously he went way overboard with, what he did with Mitch Georgiades, but you don't want to be pushing your luck at this point after you've seen what's happened.
No. It was an interesting point. So I think midway through the second quarter, Carlton's efficiency inside forward 50, so their entries to goals was at 60%, which is such a statistical anomaly that you're just sitting there the whole game going like, okay, I've gone back and I've checked their like rolling average under Fraser, and it's about 22%. And it's like, okay, they're tripling that, which is such an insane thing. We were about where we should have been. I think we had quite a decent efficiency anyway. But they didn't really let up, and they ended up kicking 13 goals too from set shots, which I want to know. I want to know when we lose games, because we lose games. I reckon probably without failure, the other teams absolutely have blinders in front of goal. Now, that's not to say that there aren't times when teams are inaccurate against us, but if you want to beat the Brisbane Lions, you have to be like a statistical anomaly when it comes to accuracy, which they were. It was and it wasn't as if they were getting they got a couple from the goal square, but they weren't easy shots. They weren't any easier than our shots. So it was a very frustrating situation, because you're sitting there going, okay, 60%. Oh, surely this will average out. And by the end of the game, they sat at, I think, 38% efficiency, which is still such an outlier. Such an outlier that, and I'm not saying that actually affects the result, because if they had a normal ratio, they still would have beaten us. But what that did is it just completely blew out either side, that we couldn't do anything and they were doing everything right. I think there were definitely some structural issues that we had. We were zoning off far too much, and we were leaving a lot of space, almost like we were trying to tease the kicks, and they were just hitting the kicks because our distances were all wrong.
Oh God, yeah.
We were zoning off, and they were just chipping the ball up the ground, and it's like, they're not even really that good kicks. There were, how many times watching that game did you sit there and go like, wow, that's like a kick that breaks open the game, the way that you see like Zorko or Wilmot or Leicester do with us, where you go, whoa, it was probably once or twice, I want to say, where you're like, that's a bona fide amazing kick that's broken open the game. It didn't really happen. They were just chipping it forward. It was really, really strange. I thought there were some weird things. Like Lachie Neale early on didn't give handballs to he handballed to McCluggage for a goal, but there was some out of stoppage where he didn't handball the ball, and there was just a bit of weird communication stuff going on that seemed a little bit not normal. And I don't know if something is amiss, or I don't know, but it just seemed a little bit like there was a little bit more, they weren't on the same page from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty clear we didn't want to be there. And then it gets to the point in the game where it's like, oh, all these people think they have to try and do too much to try and overcorrect. And like Draper was a big one for that. And then other players just go missing. Like Bailey's rich vein of form over the last 4 or 5 weeks. He had his moments, but he was quiet. Even Will who was probably our best on, quiet compared to his last 6 weeks. Levi was, he was pretty trash. Lohman, popped up here and there, tried. Rayner, same. They all just try to do too much, and it ends up costing us.
Yeah, I thought Lohman put in a pretty good shift. I didn't realise that he was the most damaging scoreboard-wise player of the past month, which is an interesting thing. The most goals and assist combos, which is wild stat. But yeah, they didn't really do it. Will was weak in the tackle. There were like a number of broken tackles that, Jagger Smith looks like he's about 55 kilos soaking wet.
Yeah. But
somehow he gets through. Like, you're waiting for him to take contact and spontaneously combust, and it just didn't happen. So good player that they found there.
Yeah. Yeah, big time.
To be honest, it's quite funny because they've won a lot of games since Voss got sacked, and I've only watched 2 of them now. But the other one I watched was against Hawthorn, and they were awful. So this, was an absolute wrecking ball to my mental outlook on this team. And we all know how I feel about Carlton. Not good.
Yeah. Look, if it's any consolation, this is round 21. We've just been dusted up by 76 points. Round 20 last year, we, very similar outing against the Suns where we got done by 66. Didn't put in the effort. We were within striking distance at halftime, and then it just blew out. So, yeah, if there's anything I've learned over the last 2 or 3 years is that these happen, these absolute mulligans where we just don't show up and put in very little to no effort. And so while the loss and the nature of the loss are pretty disappointing, and I would imagine that Adelaide and Essendon game is just about done at this point.
God, Essendon. Jeez, what a...
It will be very shortly, and then Adelaide will move above us and we'll fall down to 5th on the ladder. It doesn't change all that much, really. No, I guess what it does change is if you're Sam Mitchell watching that game and watching how Carlton's forward line that's comprised of McKay, Kemp, Lewis Young, McGovern absolutely do a number on us. You're looking at it going, well, we've got Chol, Gunston, Deere, Lewis, who are a level above. What can we do to that back line that's potentially going to be missing Froggy Lester too as well. Shout out to Hutto, though. I know you said the broadcast was horrible, but a shout out to Hutto for actually saying Froggy Lester on the broadcast. I don't think I've heard that from a commentator refer to Froggy as Froggy, so I did enjoy that.
Too familiar. It should be our joke. It's a slippery slope, that. Yes. I don't know, because I don't think that the back six were not good, but they were not the issue.
Oh, no, not at all.
And they're very rarely are they the issue. So it's the sort of thing where you can look at it and go, you can play that same back six and they'll look not like $1 million, but they'll look like
they'll look infinitely better, yeah.
Yeah, so the onus is very much on that midfield group to do better, and the high half forwards to do better.
Because we're getting torched out of the back half, absolutely torched from the back half, and getting roasted in the middle too.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very across the board absolute belting.
Yeah,
and it's just the sort of thing where you go, it's weird because, I don't think it changes much going forward, looking at the remaining fixtures, because we needed to win out anyway, I think. We've put ourselves in a position, because what people also tend to forget, last year we got belted by Gold Coast, but then 2 weeks later we also got belted by St Kilda and then kicked 1 million goals in the last quarter and lost by 2 points. But St Kilda, not St Kilda, Sydney. But Sydney, they were far better than us on that day.
Yeah.
And then that made it that we had to beat Hawthorn and we had to beat Fremantle to keep that spot.
Well, now we have to beat Hawthorn next week. If we're any chance
we have to win all 3
games. Yeah.
We have to win all 3 games because there's threats all over the place. I think we're more likely to beat Hawthorn at home than Adelaide are to beat Fremantle in Fremantle.
Yeah.
And that's what we're relying on. But you've got bloody Geelong just sitting there waiting with their easy kill into September that are just waiting there in case of a slip-up. So we cannot drop a game.
No.
We can't. And if we do, then we're in a bit of trouble because, they're circling. But this is the benefit of, I suppose, when we won both those games against Geelong and Sydney.
Sydney, yeah, for sure.
Where you go, had we lost one of those games, then we would have been back in the pack anyway. So it gave us this one, and I think at that time I might have called that we'd lose one for the remainder of the season, and I really hope that stays true. So
yeah.
Give us an opportunity to go to Perth, smack up Fremantle, and then have a week off.
I mean, it's all academic at this point to look that far ahead when Friday night at the Gabba is going to be really tough, and we still don't know what sort of team we're going to roll out and how many changes we're going to have to make. Like, Zorko comes back in for Kitty. Yes, done. Dizzy comes back in. Is that
I think Lesser stays.
If he's fit, but I don't know. I don't know.
It didn't look like a dislocation. Like,
no, it looked, and maybe there's a small fracture or something. Like, who knows? Like, honestly, no idea. But he didn't finish the game. He looked really sore. But then he waved the trainer away. He ran out the rest of the quarter, obviously, and then he went down to the rooms. He was down in the rooms for a while, and then took his seat at the back of the bench. So clearly, someone said to him, "Nah, you're no good," or let's just take it easy. So I guess we'll wait and see.
There's a few potentials because, I mean, it's a weird one, you know. Did our forward line look better with Oscar Allen in it compared to Hipwood? And I don't think so.
It's hard. It's so hard to know because nothing looked good.
No, but at the same time, if Eric's there, does the young fella have as good a game on Logan Morris? Or does Hipwood selflessly make sure that he doesn't?
Yeah.
You know, that's a bit of
Which is why I'm so filthy with Ty Gallup right now. The domino effect.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, would then Allen have come back in? Like, with Ty Gallup there, I don't know that Allen's in our best 22, which is an insane thing to say given the context at the moment. But where we are right now, it's a frustrating one. So
check out the best breweries across Brisbane and the Gold Coast with Hop On Brewery Tours. Book a half or full day tour at hoponbrewerytours.com.au.
Should we do some votes? Then we'll try and figure out this bloody...
Man, votes, we've said it the last 7 weeks where we've been, winning by an average of 40 points. Votes have been tough. This is tough for a completely different reason because I'm almost tempted to go bugger it. Like, no one's worthy of a vote. But Will 3, Cam 2, Noah Answorth 1 because it's his 100th and I love the guy.
Yeah, he took that
even
one right
though
out of my
pretty rubbish.
No, I'm giving Noah Answorth 1 and I'm giving Will 2 and Lohman 3 just because I think Lohman's probably deserved votes that he hasn't gotten in the past month and I'm going to use this as a retrospective. So
yeah, fair shout.
That will be what it is. Shout out to Noah Answorth taking that Cripps goal away from him on the line and then getting death threats about it. So cool. Good on you, Carlton fans. You go, you little guys.
Those votes, of course, thanks to hoponbrewerytours.com.au. Hey, quickly, before we get into the rest of whatever we're going to chat about here, let's have a chat about Eric first. Because it's worth.
I thought you were going to ask about the Thursday night Americanization of the sport in Geelong versus Collingwood and what my thoughts on that were. I thought that's what I was going to hit with.
I've got no reason or care to talk about that. Whatever. Let's have a chat about Eric. Obviously, he had a mare. It didn't matter if he was on Kemp, Young, McGovern, Mackay. He got his pants pulled down. He looked awful, but as we sort of said, not really his fault, and that's a 1 week thing, hopefully. But I was surprised that, and obviously it's been a theme for Chris Fagan over the last couple of years. We saw it with Jack Payne in that GWS game where he was getting towed up by Jesse Hogan, and then he said, like, "I'm going to stick with you," and things turned around. I was surprised he didn't make any moves with Eric and put Oscar behind the ball. Yeah,
it felt not good.
Yeah.
In the sense that I don't think Eric might have played his junior football and been an All-Australian as a centre half back. But he's still built the same as kind of how he was then, and that is not how you want to be built as a key defender. And if you're going to stick with a player like that, they need to have the base level, the fundamental level to be able to do the job that you're asking them to do, which I just don't think that he does.
Yeah.
That's okay. As I said earlier on, I expected us to go 2 and then probably swing Allen, behind the ball in the last 5 minutes of quarters, the way that we did earlier on in the year. But it was just shit. And I felt bad for him because
it set him up to fail, didn't it?
and you go in there going like, oh, well, is this a way to go? Well, he had such a poor game. Then you can like drop him and bring in Gardner, and then that way you've managed to finagle your way into having Morris and Allen. It's like why does the brain think that there's a grand plan behind it all? Like, surely they're men at a selection committee and they can make decisions if they need to or want to. So it was horrible. I hated it. You know, we like Eric Hipwood a lot, and we stand up for him, I think, justifiably a lot, but I don't think that he was done any favours by anybody.
No. Not at all.
I mean, even when you got, like, Harris didn't look great either. Froggy didn't look great. So none of the talls, I don't think, won their matchups whatsoever.
Nope.
And how often can you actually say that?
Yeah.
That all three of our keys. So, yeah, it was a hard watch for, you know, many reasons. Many reasons. Logan Morris got absolutely smashed. I mean, Connor McKenna had to go back. It felt rough on Coleman because Coleman was actually playing pretty well, and there was some green shoots, and he looked pretty fluid, and that looked to me like where our avenue through was, because Carlton were just flooding the corridor and not to be. So it was a hard one.
A little bit of housekeeping here, just in terms of the Brisbane Lions fan cast. Hey, a big shout out to Chris E, who donated to our tip jar. Big shout out to you, Chris. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And if you want to get involved and support the show, I understand that not a lot of people are going to want to watch anything to do with footy this week, myself included. BrisbaneLionsFancast.com.au is our website where you can get involved, and where you can check out the latest sort of company that we've partnered with, WGG. If you like your caffeine, your energy sort of supplement sort of stuff, we've teamed up with Dubby, and you get a 10% off code there if you use BLFancast. The links are available through our website there, BrisbaneLionsFancast.com.au. And another guy I've been working with very recently, Ben from Footy Loyalty, who you can check out, Footy Loyalty on Instagram or their website, footyloyalty.au. They're about to launch in the next couple of months. And I got a sort of behind-the-scenes look here at what they're doing. I got to fill out a Brisbane Lions quiz, and it's sort of in different tiers of like casual, committed, all the way from unhinged to some ridiculous
Patrick
immortal, yeah. And they're going to launch a bunch of quiz books for every club and do some other really cool stuff as well. So check those guys out. I had a lot of fun doing that. So yeah, really cool with stuff to look forward to with Footy Loyalty. So yeah, other
Beautiful.
footy stuff. The Twos got smacked as well by Carlton.
They kept with them for a little bit. Just back to the new sponsor. It's finally a sponsor that I could potentially partake in. You can have your alcohol and I can have my caffeine. So it's
there you go.
We could represent both at the same time.
W.GG is the website.
I would just need a Hop On Breweries mug, but you know, hard to get on a tour from down here. So
there you go.
Yes, the Twos got smacked.
Yeah, yes they did. Marshall, again, good. Annabelle didn't play, and depending on what happens with Hugh McCluggage, might get a go this week. He's obviously next in line. Cody Curtin sort of played half a game as well. He looked, he couldn't get near it. Yeah. Joyce was all right, so he's maybe putting his hand up. Tunstall was okay. Yep, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to look at it and go, well, they probably should have played Joyce. And they probably should have played Joyce. And that's where it was a weird one. And that's where I went on that tirade before. It's like they just opted to have a worse team, which I can't I can't understand that trend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're looking at a bit of a weird one in terms of injuries.
Yeah, so any changes we make, there's going to be a lot of like Damien Barrett sliding doors when. So do we want to run on the assumption that McCluggage and Froggy aren't playing?
So if Leicester isn't there, then both Gardner and Joyce will play.
Yeah.
Which means one of Eric and Oscar Allen will come out. And I think, unfortunately, Eric will be scapegoated. Which sucks. If McCluggage isn't there, well, you man, Annabelle might.
Yeah, I think Annabelle comes in. Yeah.
Crop up. If Lohman's not there, Will McLaughlin.
Yep.
And if Logan Morris is still sore from his corky, then Eric Hipwood comes back in as a forward. And Kadeen Coleman for Zorko.
Yeah, I mean that one just made the most amount of sense, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's easy.
It's not what you want though, leading into a must-win.
Fucking shame, man. I just want to watch Kadeen Coleman play.
Yeah,
because I think Wilmot plays better when Zorko's not next to him, and I just want to see the boys play.
Yeah,
because we can't keep relying on this 37-year-old. Like, we can't keep relying on it. We need to be better. The players need to be better.
That's a lot of changes to be making in a must-win clash against Hawthorn.
Yeah. It's a lot of change. But, I mean, hopefully strap up the shoulder and then you've just got Froggy and Gardner. I think Gardner will come back in regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No, and that Damien Barrett article felt dirty. Didn't like it at all. Hoi.
In other loose footy-related news, it's not that loose. Did you catch any of the Australia-Ireland women's match on Saturday afternoon?
No, and there's a bit. But so I actually forgot I was going to do a whole bit at the beginning of the episode. So yesterday, I woke up not feeling particularly well, you know. Sometimes I get a little bit, feel physically under it. I've been working on like a vegetable garden type thing in like a big water container over the past I say I've been working on it. I just dumped a bunch of stuff in it. It came to that I've been cultivating basically a swamp, and I didn't realize. I forgot to kind of take the bung out the bottom, so it wasn't draining. So I chose that day to be like, oh no, I've got to shovel out like half a ton of like sludgy rocks to try and, smelled awful. You're like, wrist deep in it. It's getting in your fingernails. And so that happened. Had to have about 3 showers and I could still smell swamp shit in my fingernails. And then had to have a lie down because I wasn't feeling so well. So I missed the AFLW game. Still not the worst part of the day, though.
Nope.
We can edit that back to the beginning, and then we can start with that, and then we can...
I'm tempted to chuck in some Shrek gear there, but also at the same time... Shrek, yeah. Just swamp gear. Anyway, can't be bothered.
Oh, swamp. Okay, right. Gotcha.
Australia, it wasn't necessarily an international rules match. It was just a game of AFLW.
No, well, that was a question that I asked to our Discordians, as I called them. I said, are they using a round ball or not? And they're like, no. Like, everyone's on a AFL list. And I'm like, okay. Well, so it's basically state of origin, but
sort of, yeah, except country of origin, really.
Which
Courtney Hodder was good. Sophie Conway was good. Brie Conan, good. Ola O'Dwyer had some moments. She kicked a great goal. Nessa Dooley was good. Jennifer Dunn was really, really good. She's in for a big season. So, and that's it for sort of Lions players that we can have a bit of a chat about there. That AFLW season kicks off. There's one match on Sunday, St Kilda Carlton, and then it's a bit of a break Thursday. The rest of the the round continues. So that's something to look forward to. And of course, our AFLW tipping competition is up and about as well, which, so let's use that as the perfect segue to get into tipping.
EB by Hiker is your home for away games. Live footy on the big screen, good beers, good food, good vibes. 65 Manila Street, East Brisbane.
Thanks to EB by Hiker, ebbyhiker.com.au. So the AFLW tipping competition, if you do want to get involved, you can get involved in that one as well. The code, and we've got one person involved already, lovely. The code for that one, QORE2AMF. So AFLW tipping competition kicks off Sunday. All right, let's get back to the men's here. I got this week just gone, 7 from 9, missed out on us. And the Eagles got done by the Tigers again.
I did bad.
Did you really? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
you tipped all the home teams, didn't you?
No, that was the week before when I also did bad. The wheels have well and truly fallen off in my attempt to try and chase Hayden.
Yeah.
I tipped the Bulldogs, didn't go well. Tipped Port Adelaide, didn't go well, and then missed us and the West Coast game. So, to my surprise, I didn't actually tip Essendon. I thought I probably would have, and tipping I have completely fallen off. It is a reverse of last year, where I started insane and ended up all right, and now I have, completely just stop trying to find me.
No, I'm trying to find our weekly winner. Our weekly winner, who's going to win 300 waypoints, thanks to EB by Hiker. Murdoch H got 8 and the margin of 6. You're our weekly winner, Murdoch. Get in touch. We'll get that prize sorted for you there. Let's have a look to next week.
So Thursday night, what a clinker.
Dogs and North. Marvell.
Awful. The Bulldogs. I mean, the Super Flood did not work, and it was an awful game to watch last
wasn't
week.
it?
Horrid. Yes, us against Hawthorn. Now, how's this one? The cloak of invincibility for Melbourne. You're tipping Hawthorn, aren't you? No?
I'm very tempted, but I am going to tip Brisbane.
Okay. Fremantle, I think.
Yeah.
Wannies.
Sydney to beat Port. Geelong to beat Essendon. Adelaide to beat Richmond. Expansion Cup. Giants and Suns. And Monica. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
Suns they got to win, don't they? Got to win one, don't they?
No. No, they don't. They've peaked.
I'd much rather they win this week than week after.
No, they're not going to. Yeah, well.
Go the Giants. No, bugger it. Go Suns. Collingwood and then, Carlton St Kilda. Gross.
St Kilda are winning this.
This is for a spot in the wild card, basically. I think. Yep. Whoever wins this sort of solidifies 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. St Kilda absolutely threw it away against Sydney as well. It was amazing.
Why are those games always so close?
It was amazing, the St Kilda game and the North Melbourne Hawthorn game, where you're like, wow, it's like close. You guys have a chance to like not fuck up. And 5 minutes into the last quarter, North have copped 3. Josh Paddle kicked a goal. Josh Battle.
Yeah.
Like, and then you had, fella break his leg horrendously.
Yeah, that was gross.
And, St Kilda could be a bit undermanned, though, because I think TDK's down and Silvani did his shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
can't play anything like they did on last night.
if Carlton play anything like they did last night again, they'll beat a team by 76 points again.
Now, bugger it. I'm going Carlton.
Okay.
I got to respect him after that.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, what did you make of, because I was under the impression that Josh Fraser is not wanting the job. He doesn't want the coaching job.
He started off saying that, but I think he's warming to the idea.
Because I think he would be best to leave it. Because I think if he leaves it and then becomes an assistant elsewhere for 1 or 2 years, he can pick whatever job he wants. But maybe he wants that job. Who knows?
He's handing in as good a resume as anyone at this point.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I'm like, is he actually handing in a resume?
I don't know.
Doing my best Caroline Wilson here.
Maybe it's
my
a classic
sources
case
lead
of,
me to believe that
treat him mean, keep him keen, act like you don't want it. No,
I'll tell you what was fun during the week. I rewatched the 2002 grand final, and
sure,
that's a good game. That's if I'm sick, if I'm not feeling well, that's what I'll do. I'll sit and watch old grand finals.
Well, that could be the perfect segue into our Chris Marketing questions.
Chris Marketing are your outsourced marketing managers. From social media and newsletters to design and websites, they handle it all, so you can stay focused on your business. crispcoms.co.
Because one of the questions that we did get thrown our way was rank our grand finals from 1 to 5.
All right. Grand final wins.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty easy.
All right, we'll go for it. I don't know that it's that easy.
Yeah, it's... So there was this is a segue. I mean, I'm going to go 02, 01, 25, 24, 2003.
I'm tempted to do the exact same. You could... On any given day, though, for me, it's 02, 01 in that order, and then the others I can sort of jumble on any given day depending on how I'm feeling. I'd probably put 24 above 25 because it's the drought breaker, if you will. I was at it, so memories attached to that. Yeah, I know
your heart, you heart rate. No, I mean, yeah.
It's because 03 was so fun too.
Well, 03 they just belted the hell out of him, which was amazing. They did there was like a top 30 Lions moments that someone did somewhere. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now,
that was done by the club, 30 moments over the last 30 years.
Yeah, the club did that.
Yeah. Well, it was all fan voted.
Okay.
So it was facilitated by the club, and it was sort of like everyone was given a list of, I can't remember how many moments, 50 take.
There were some strange moments in there, I got to say.
Yeah.
There was a lot of recency bias. One of the things that annoyed me, Voss's 75-metre torp. It wasn't a torp, it was a drop punt. That's what made it so amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone kept referring to it as a torp.
I'm sorry, Ash McGrath, but the Miracle on Grass is not in my top 5 personally.
Oh, Patrick!
It doesn't rank above winning a grand final. There's no way in hell. No way. It's not the greatest moment in 30 years of the Lions when you've won 5 premierships. That's insanity.
I think what's happened here is much like the voting on the goal of the year or whatever, when it was 2 Jeremy Howe marks versus 1 Joe Danaher, it's like you can't split them and everyone's voting for different premierships, but everyone knows Miracle and Grass, so all the votes are getting funneled that way.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just sort of, and I probably get it, that there's a lot of, I guess, mystique and reference to that. But maybe it's just the people that kind of experienced those early premierships. Like, there was a distinct lack of moments from those earlier times. And maybe it's just people are too young to really know. how important they were.
Yeah, I think it was probably largely driven by social media as well. So probably reaching out to younger people, and it's recency bias. Yeah,
like no Ackermanis 2 goal of the years in a row. That's the top tenner. Find me a time when that will ever happen again. 2 from the boundary line in 30 seconds.
What people are going to say to you is, well, did you vote? Well, did you vote?
Of course I didn't vote. I don't have social media.
There you go, mate.
And that gives me full license to bitch and moan about it. So,
yeah.
Fun times.
Look, I don't really have a huge issue with the Miracle on Grass taking out number 1. Once again, that's a game I was there at. One of my first games of footy I went to when I moved up to Queensland. So I've got really fond memories of that. You know, special game for Simon Black. It was Ash McGrath's 200th. It was just all the ingredients were there.
Yes, they were.
So there you go.
That's just my curmudgeon-ish opinion of situations. So,
Benny, what are your thoughts on the AFL's recent umpire stats messaging? Does the principle of interpretation need to be addressed in the AFL? So they came out with a stat saying that like 96% of the decisions made were accurate. But then I think when he broke it down, it's sort of like it filtered in like marks of contested and uncontested, and that really took a good portion of percentage. And so when you're actually looking at free kicks, the ratio was much worse.
Sorry, just explain marks versus contested versus uncontested.
So that the stat that came out, and I'm butchering this and paraphrasing it. So 94 or 96% of umpire decisions were accurate is what they landed on, what they put out to sort of media and people saying, hey, look, you all hate us, but here, we're getting these right 94 to 96% of the time. What Benny's saying is like, well, uncontested marks account for a lot of those numbers, and when you actually
so that counts as a decision. An uncontested mark is a decision.
Yes, when you take that out of it, and it's just like free kicks, that the ratios are actually much, much worse.
That's insane. Like, that's actually insane. What I will do, let's go back to the 2002 grand final.
Okay,
but I didn't even watch that on the DVD because I don't have a DVD player right at the minute. So I had to watch the normal broadcast, which Stephen Quartermain loved it. Peak Hutto, and funnily enough, Jared Waitley at the sprightly age of 27 on the boundary line, looking every bit as old as 51 as he is now. So, what I didn't hear in that broadcast was whistles and umpire yammer. And do you know what that did? It was great. And do you know what it also did? Is when Nathan Buckley got about 5 free kicks for who knows why, you just moved on with your life because you didn't have a guy going like, well, actually you hit him in the nose with like, yeah, he's got a big nose. Oh, well, you hit it with the, like, you knew what was going on by watching. You didn't need to, I've said it before, but it feels like watching football these days is like watching air traffic control. It's so, shut up. I'm assuming it's probably an AI that's doing the sound these days. But, yeah, that to me is just absolutely massively distorting any kind of statistics to prove a point. Whereas everyone can see, also, it seems like they probably weren't including decisions missed, which is kind of like, yeah, don't know. I think it's bullshit, and I think it's self-serving, and it's borderline arrogance, and a lot needs to change.
Yeah.
That's me saying that.
Kai Lohmann didn't get mentioned in the wrap-up of the game, and looking at it, I think they were potentially going to look at that Harry Dean tackle on Rayner, which would be a bit of a pisser.
But Dean got a fine, and there was nothing else from the game.
I thought it was barely worth a free kick. I thought Cam Rayner obviously milked that for all it was worth.
He did, but he also still got his head tackled on the ground, so it's sort of, you know, want to get that out of the game, you got to get it out of the game.
I suppose so. All right, Hawthorn next week. And they are obviously looking pretty good. I don't know what their injury list is like and if there was anything to come out of the game yesterday. Carl Amon could be... Oh, Mitch Lewis isn't playing. Carl Amon's out. Connor Nash is out. Scrimshaw out. That's all. Connor Nash maybe. Ned Reeves maybe. And anything that may have happened in their game, which I don't know. Let's have a quick look here as they beat North. North pushed them, though. That's what I did see. North pushed them.
Yeah, and then North rolled over in the last quarter because they're...
no injuries to come out of the game. Noah Answorth to Nick Watson.
Well, do you remember the last time they met?
I mean, yes and no.
You don't... Do you know what Nick Watson's stats were for that game?
3/5 of FA. 4 kicks.
4 touches, one behind. He got absolutely blanketed at the beginning of last year, or, the first third of last year. So that was good. More of that, please.
Yes.
But, Watson is going into the midfield a little bit more. So that is a way to break that down a little bit. So we'll have to be on high alert for him in the midfield. So very dangerous and annoying player.
Who goes to Gunston, or is it Gunston going to Harris Andrews again? I don't think they've done that recently. I think Gunston's in good enough form now that he's the danger.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a funny one, and this kind of almost harps back to the Carlton selection thing. Is like, why are we not making the opposition dictate the matchups to us? Why should we be reactionary? So, it depends on who's there, but I'd probably put Gardner to him if Gardner's there. Gardner's got a good bit of toe, and it'll, you don't really want a slightly undersized guy on Chol.
No,
that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But in terms of, it really does just come down to the simplicity of, like, the midfield need to be on, they need to pull their socks up, and they need to get the job done, and they need to be selfless and work for each other, and they need to work for their defenders.
Yeah.
Because we should be in this game, I should be able to play centre half back, and it shouldn't matter. That's the reality of it. We've pulled out performances when we needed them to consistently over the last couple of years, and we need to do it again.
Yep.
Because, we can't just coast. Otherwise, we'll get exposed. So, they've got a lot of players to watch out for. The fella that's always injured,
Will Day.
He's back, right? Yeah.
He's back and good. Very good.
You got him. You got Newcomb. Mackenzie's playing well. They probably got your mate with a dumb braid.
Oh, hey. I said I like Blake Hardwick, and I stand by that, but don't ever accuse me of liking Connor McDonald.
You just strike me as the type that would have grown one of those back in the day.
Oh,
like, you would have had one.
Hey, I'll let you say lots of things about me, but when it comes to rat's tails, no. And that's another reason to hate GWS, is the amount of dirty rat's tails floating around in that team at the moment.
It's West Sydney for you, I guess.
I mean, yeah, really is West Sydney.
That is profiling based on having never been to West Sydney. Or I think I've been to Sydney once. I don't even remember. Might have been in high school. Who knows? We just have to get the job done.
We do.
It's as simple as that. And there's not really any, the matchups and the this and that. It's really hard to do before you've seen what the teams are going to be. But we've had a pretty good record against Hawthorn over the past year. Have we played them already this year?
No, I don't think that we have, no.
Okay. So we beat them twice last year, and it's been a long time between drinks. So, yeah. What do you think?
They worry me because they're playing good footy at the moment as well. Yeah. But I think, as you said, when we need to pull out a performance, we quite often do. So let's do that again.
We're running out of lives, though. Like, it feels a bit that way. But we got back-to-back home games, and then saunter down to the MCG, which is a second home for us. So we should be winning these 3 games. Have to be winning these 3 games.
Yeah, it's getting to the point of necessity now, isn't it?
Which is kind of a weird little, almost irony that kind of 5th and 6th isn't as bad as it once was.
Yeah, and obviously we've got the confidence that we've done it from 5th before, which was unlikely as it was, but to do it again, which would be just as unlikely, but again, can do it.
Do you want to know one thing that, kind of upsets me, even though it's entirely redundant? There'll be no premiership window this year. We need it to be squeaky clean. And we just went on. Are you clipping that so that you can play that as your ringtone forever?
I'd love to.
Yes, we needed to be squeaky clean, and that was not the case. Shipping 150 points against Carlton was not on the agenda.
Oof.
So there will be no premiership window this year. I'll tell the children.
All right, I reckon that'll just about do us. Yeah, what a garbage game of footy. Let's fix that on Friday night.
Yeah, message to everyone listening, if you've gotten this far, just don't with the couch and 360 and first
I'll
crack.
be taking the week off.
Just don't. Like, you've got this, we've got nothing.